controversy around world #1 tennis player Novak Djokovic's vaccine stance refuses to die down. In the latest, Djokovic has said that he would rather miss out on trophies than be forced to get a COVID vaccine. Djokovic said he believes in the freedom to decide what he puts into his body. He said he's willing to pay the price of missing out on titles over his stance on vaccines. Now, last month, remember, Djokovic failed to participate in the Australian Open after he was deported by the Australian government over being unvaccinated. Those are the details here at this point in time. Remember, this has been a massive controversy right from day one since Djokovic actually landed in Australia. And now, of course, he has been extremely vocal about his stand of deciding what he would like to put in his body. And he says that this is the fact that he believes in the freedom to choose vaccines and that he is not against vaccination. So he doesn't want to be called an anti-vaxxer. He says he has taken vaccines as a child, but it is a matter of choice that he says that he can't be forced to get jabbed. And for that, principle he believes in, he is willing to even give up his laurels and his trophies at this point in time. Let me, in fact, go across to Gaurav Gupta, who's joining us here on the phone line. Gaurav, thank you so much for speaking to us. This is a big statement coming in from Djokovic. It also gives some clarity into what he thinks as far as saying that he's not against vaccination, but this is more about the freedom of choice that he believes in.
I agree with the fact that you should have the freedom to choose what you want to do. But then, in this case, this is also a responsibility that you have towards the others as well. Because if you do not get yourself jabbed, then you are risking the lives of the others around you and the health of the others around you. And also, it's also about setting an example as a role. It's also about being a role model. And Djokovic is a role model to millions of people around the world, to aspiring tennis players, aspiring sports persons, all of us. So it is disappointing, the stand that he has taken. I am not too pleased about it because it reflects a bullheaded approach. He is still not come around the fact that the vaccines are sort of mandatory, even though there is the choice of the individual remains. But still, you have to have keep in mind that and twice he's suffered from COVID. It's not like he's resistant, his body is resistant to it or anything. And he's an athlete, so it's not like he's not. When you have so many old people taking the vaccine and doing well, here is somebody who's a fit athlete. He really, I don't think there's going to be any major side effects on him unless he has a medical condition which forces him to not take the vaccine, which he has been unable to prove in Australia as well.
Yes.
So I'm it's a bit disappointing to see him continue to maintain this stand, and the fact that he's ready to forego trophies is very scary because Djokovic is a big draw. He's standing at a point where he has 20 Grand Slam titles. He's level with Roger Federer there. And just one short of Rafel Nadal, who's on 21. Perhaps Nadal would not have reached 21 at Australian Open if Djokovic was around. Having said that, obviously Nadal deserved his title pretty much so. But then this is a disappointing stand to have. And it might deprive us of. My fear is that it might deprive us of seeing Djokovic at major tournaments and major Grand Slams.
Yes.
So it is worrying and I don't know how people around him could get this to him that it is indeed sort of a mandatory thing, even though it is about an individual's choice. It is high time that he takes the vaccine and moves on and sort of gets it done and dusted with. I mean, he was somebody born to play tennis and not to be resistant to the vaccine.
Yes, absolutely agree with all the points that you've raised, Gaurav. Let me also bring in Dr. Narendra Gupta, public health expert here, who's with us at this point in time. Dr. Gupta, thank you for speaking to us. Your perspective on this whole issue, because, somebody of Djokovic's stature obviously is an extremely big influencer when it comes to something like this, the strong stand that he's taken at this point in time. And talking about the freedom of choice that he's pointing out to, we're not talking about an individual person here, because COVID is something that is so easily transmissible that it's not just about yourself, but you're talking about protecting the entire people who are around you.
Certainly, and the kind of message which goes out when he makes a statement, which are very contradictory. If you watch his interview, which he gave very recently to a new channel, then where he said that he does believe in vaccination, and in his childhood he must have got vaccinated for several days. And even now, whenever anything happens to him, he definitely must be having some medical products for improving his strength and all those kind of things. So by not having the vaccine, in a way, you are trying to, and a vaccine which is caused havoc in the world is conveying a message as if you can go without a vaccine and still be okay, which is not a right thing at all for him to do, essentially because there's such a huge fan following of him. And if all of his fans begin to believe in something similar, despite the fact that, of course, vaccine is an individual choice, but COVID is a communicable disease. If there's one single person who is not vaccinated, has the ability to spread it, to infect other people, even that person himself or herself is not showing signs and symptoms of COVID, because they could be latent COVID. They could be asymptomatic COVID. So it is very essential. And in fact, he should have taken the vaccine and showed it to the world. I have taken the vaccine. Nothing has happened to me. I am fit and all right. So he should have been on the other side saying that vaccine is something which has protect the world all around, always, for several diseases which disappeared or on the verge of disappearance, like polio, smallpox a long time back, measles is on anvil for disappearance. There are several other diseases where vaccines are there, and because of the vaccines we could win over those kind of
Yes.
situations.
Yes.
So in such kind of a thing, it is very important and essential. That he should be conveying a positive message to the masses, and by showcasing that he is the one who has taken this vaccine, and then because of this vaccine, nothing has happened to him. So he should have called kind of rather than showcasing that I have decided, I have made several I have come to this conclusion, and that conclusion is also not very clear conclusion. And what is conclusion?
Yes.
So the essential thing for him is that it is an infectious disease, and for this infectious disease, he should not only protect himself, but he should also protect the world.
Yes.
And convey a positive message, or a message that all his fans also get themselves vaccinated.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, Gaurav, if you're still with us, the other aspect here is the fact that, earlier on, at least in Australia at that point in time, he felt that he deserved to be, given the special treatment and, allowed to be excluded and not be forced to take the vaccine because of his stature and because of the tennis player that he was. And that itself is another issue as well, because no matter who you are, you can't be excluded from rules such as this one.
See, to begin with, in Australia, I thought the primary mistake lied with the Australian Open organizers. And I don't know, I still don't know whether the person who allowed him that exemption to play in the Australian Open without being vaxxed when the others were, how did that happen, and why was the concerned person not taken to the task for this? Firstly, that. Secondly, even him being allowed permission there was also wrong on the grounds that there were several players. I believe there was an Indian player as well who was denied entry in the juniors category because he was too young to be vaccinated, but still he was not vaccinated, so he was not allowed entry. So that firstly, morally, ethically, that was wrong, that he was allowed to participate by the Australian Open organizers. Secondly, the information that he provided in his immigration form, I think, was wrong. while entering Australia, wherein he said that he has not traveled anywhere. And he had been to, I think, 1 or 2 countries in Europe and even participated in events after being struck by COVID, which means that he perhaps would have even spread the disease to the others. So all this is not making sense to me, and really it's an unfortunate situation because you're talking about an all-time great of the sport behaving in such an irresponsible manner and continuing to do so. And this drama has just started. The year has just started with this drama in the Australian Open, and my fear is that it will now spill over to the French Open and Wimbledon. Is this what we're going to? Is this the legacy? Is this what we're going to remember Djokovic for, or are we going to remember him for the 20 Grand Slam titles? The amount of tennis that he's played.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Very valid points. We'll of course have to wait and see how this plays out. But thank you very much, Dr. Gupta and Gaurav, for joining us with your thoughts on this issue.